Okay, so let's talk about something that's happened to a lot of us. You get that strong smell of gasoline around your car, but when you look underneath, there's nothing. Not one single drop. It's super confusing and, let's be honest, a little bit scary. But you're in the right place because today we are going to get to the bottom of this mystery.
Yeah, that's the feeling, right? You get in your car, or maybe you're just walking by it in the garage and bam, that unmistakable smell of raw gas just hits you. Of course, the first thing you do is look for a puddle, but it's totally dry. So what in the world is going on here? Now, before we dive any deeper, I've got to be crystal clear about this. This is not just some weird smell you can just, ignore and hope it goes away. A persistent gas smell means fuel vapor is in the air. And folks, that is a serious, serious fire hazard. Your safety is number one, so taking this seriously, that's our first step.
And here's the thing that really gets to the heart of the mystery. You have to remember, gasoline is incredibly volatile. I mean, it basically wants to turn into a vapor. It evaporates super fast. So this means a leak can be so tiny that the gas just disappears into thin air the second it escapes, way before it could ever dream of making a puddle. And that's exactly why you can get that powerful smell with absolutely zero visible evidence.
So, when you break it down, we're basically hunting for two different kinds of culprits here. First, you've got your vapor leaks. These are invisible fumes escaping from a system that's supposed to be completely sealed. And then you've got these sneaky little liquid leaks, so small they literally evaporate the second they touch a hot engine part, leaving no trace behind.
All right, let's kick off this investigation with our prime suspect, the number one most common offender, your car's evaporative emission control system, or what everyone just calls the EVAP system.
So, the easiest way to think about the EVAP system is like a little vapor recycling plant built right into your car. Its whole job, really, is to be good for the environment. It captures all those gasoline fumes coming off your fuel tank and just holds onto them until the engine is ready to burn them off nice and clean. It's designed to be a totally sealed system, or, that's the plan anyway.
But if that seal gets broken anywhere, those vapors are going to escape. And the weak points are actually pretty common things. I mean, it could be something as simple as you forgot to tighten your gas cap. Or maybe the charcoal canister that stores the fumes has a crack in it. A valve could be stuck open. Or you could just have old, brittle hoses with tiny splits. Any one of those things breaks the seal, and poof, you've got a vapor leak.
Okay, let's move on to suspect number two. What if the problem isn't about vapor escaping from the fuel system, but instead it's about unburned fuel actually leaving the engine? This brings us to a really common engine issue called running rich.
Running rich is just a fancy way of saying your engine's air-fuel recipe is wrong. It's getting way too much gas and not enough air to burn it all up. So what happens to all that leftover, unburned fuel? Well, it's got to go somewhere, so it just gets shoved right out the exhaust pipe. And that's what creates that really strong, raw gasoline smell.
So what causes an engine to run rich? Well, it's almost always a bad part. Could be a tiny leaking O-ring on a fuel injector. That's the nozzle that sprays fuel into the engine. A faulty fuel pressure regulator could be sending a fire hose of gas when it should be a trickle. It could even be a bad sensor that's tricking the car's computer. Heck, even a spark plug that's not screwed in tight can let that raw fuel mixture escape.
All right, time for our third and final suspect. We're circling back to the idea of a liquid leak. But this one's a master of disguise. We're talking about the kind of leak that evaporates the second it appears, leaving absolutely no evidence behind.
It's crazy to think about, but a leak no bigger than a pinhole in a fuel line could be the culprit. If that tiny hole is anywhere near a hot engine block or a sizzling exhaust pipe, that little bit of fuel turns to vapor instantly. You get no drip, no puddle, just that really strong gas odor. And these sneaky leaks, they have their favorite hiding spots. Corroded metal fuel lines are a classic. Another really common one is the gasket on the fuel pump. And get this, the fuel pump is often right under your back seat, which is why you might smell it so strongly inside the car. You've also got to consider the fuel filter or even a crack in the exhaust manifold that can actually suck those fumes right into the cabin.
Okay, we've lined up our suspects. The investigation part is done. Now it's time for action. Let's walk through your step-by-step plan to safely figure out what's really going on with your car.
First things first, always start with the easiest fix. Check your gas cap. Does it click when you tighten it? Is the little rubber seal cracked or worn out? Next, scan the car's computer for any error codes. This is a must if your check engine light is on.
After that, pop the hood and just do a simple visual inspection. Look for any wet spots or even just an oily film around the fuel lines and injectors. If you've done all that and you're still stumped, that's when it's time to call in a pro. And hey, don't let the idea of scanning for codes intimidate you. You can grab a basic OBD2 scanner online for like 20 or 30 bucks. Or even better, just drive down to your local auto parts store. Most of them will do it for you for free. It's a super easy and accessible way to ask your car's computer, hey, what do you think is wrong?
So why go to a pro? Well, because they have the cool tools. And the big one for this problem is the smoke machine. A mechanic can hook it up and pump a totally harmless smoke into the EVAP system. It's such a simple but brilliant idea. Wherever you see smoke coming out, that's your leak. It completely takes the guesswork out of finding these invisible problems.
Look, if there's just one thing you remember from all this, please let it be this. A persistent gasoline smell is your car screaming a warning at you. It is never, ever normal. It's not something you should ignore. For your own safety and peace of mind, it always needs to be investigated.
It's amazing how a simple smell can be such a clear, yet invisible sign that something's wrong. And that kind of leaves us with a bigger question to think about, doesn't it? What other invisible warnings is your car trying to send you right now?